ladies and gentlemen, today I'm here to show you the 16 books I have acquired since my April book haul. But first, for all of you who have been wondering about my ever-changing background, I work at a library, so I get the opportunity to shoot in front of a variety of different beautiful shelves. I also have really cool friends that have beautiful personal libraries. On to the book haul. The first book that I have to show to you, you may have seen if you saw my Dewey 24-hour readathon wrap-up. And it is Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. This is the first book in a young adult paranormal fantasy series, and it follows a young art student named Karu who lives in Prague. She has been raised by otherworldly creatures and is often sent on missions to collect teeth. Teeth are currency for wishes. She has no idea how this magic works or why exactly she is constantly sent on these missions. But on one of these missions, she meets a mysterious angel who takes a sort of liking to her, but meanwhile there's all kinds of drama and intrigue going on in this other world. I'm really excited to read this, and my friend Jenna, who I did the Dewey's 24-hour readathon with, encouraged me to pick this up. She said the writing is beautiful, and not to mention Laini Taylor is a lovely human being. The next book I received was a total surprise from the incredible Frankie from Instead of Gold. If you don't watch Frankie, definitely check her out. She does excellent book reviews and fun tags, so I definitely recommend checking her out, and you can find the link to her channel in the description below. She knew how much I absolutely adored this book. Frankie got me a signed copy, a personalized signed copy of Burial Rites by Hannah Kent. It is a beautiful paperback edition. I love paperback books. Even though the cover of the hardback edition is quite beautiful, I absolutely adore having this in paperback. I cannot express my gratitude enough for this, Frankie. If you're watching this, I appreciate this so much. I hope to one day repay the favor. The next book I received for review from the lovely people at Penguin, and it is Inland by Kat Rosenfield. I recently finished her debut novel, Amelia Ann is Dead and Gone, and the writing in it was very beautiful, so I'm excited to see how her writing and style has developed in this novel. This novel tells the story of a young girl whose mother passed away by drowning in the ocean when she was a young girl. Her family moved to the Midwest to get away from the terrible memories of her mother's death, but when they moved away, our main character develops some terrible pulmonary and breathing issues, but at the beginning of this novel, because of job opportunities, their family moves back to the coast where her health issues miraculously disappear, but she feels this calling to the ocean. It sounds mysterious and eerie and strangely beautiful, which I expect completely from Kat Rosenfield, and I'm looking forward to picking this up and reviewing it soon. Not to mention, it's a beautiful object. It has this beautiful yellow on the inside, yellow-green, and then the outside is a beautiful blue with the bright fluorescent yellowy green as well. So the next 7 books I received from my best friend Colleen, who makes videos over at Little Ghost Creation. She does an excellent variety of adult Canadian literature and also talks about veganism and does quick little recipes that are so fun to watch. She's taken a little bit of break from YouTube, but she's a lovely human being and sent me all of these wonderful books. The first one being Memoirs of a Geisha by Arthur Golden. I believe that this is a kind of a modern classic about a young geisha who is retelling her story to a scholar in her old age. I don't know much about this book, but I am intrigued to read it, and actually right before I received this glorious package with this book that I did not know would be in it, I saw an excellent review of this book by Booksoverlooks, which I will link down in the description below. The next book that I received from Colleen is a classic that I've been itching to read, but I didn't have a physical copy of, and it is The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte. I get the impression that this was quite the controversial novel in its day. It's about a woman who gets away from her abusive, alcoholic husband. I'm really intrigued to read a story like that set in this time period because it seems quite revolutionary for its time, and I want to read something else by the Brontes, and this seems way more approachable than Wuthering Heights. The next classic that Colleen sent me is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, another classic that was on my Classics TBR, and if you don't know what this is about, it's a novel by Mary Shelley about a scientist who does experiments and creates a horrendous monster. I think it focuses on themes of creation and playing God, but what's even more exciting about this book is that Pemberley Digital is doing a web series called Frankenstein MD, where they're doing some gender swapping, and the main character, who is a male in the book, is a female doctor. And I'm quite excited to read this, even more so now, before the web series begins in the fall. The next book is a modern classic, and it is Atonement by Ian McEwan. It's kind of funny that she sent me this book because I've always been interested in this book, but I had a copy of it, and it was the movie tie-in edition with beautiful James McAvoy on the front of it. But I recently donated it because it had been sitting on my shelves for years and years. But now that I have this beautiful edition, it's like it's fate or something telling me that I need to read this book, so I'm really looking forward to it. It is a story set before, during, and after World War II, I believe, and it's about a young girl who witnesses a questionable event, and based on this event, she starts a terrible rumor that destroys the lives of the people involved. I've always been intrigued by this, and I'm hoping that I can get to it soon now that I own another beautiful copy of it. The next two books are books that I had actually never heard of before, and they are Stories from the Vinyl Cafe and Secrets from the Vinyl Cafe by Stuart McLean. These are short story collections of humorous stories by a Canadian author, and I'm quite excited because I haven't really read any short stories since college, and I've always been intimidated to get into them, but I think that having some humorous ones will be a great way to get into short stories. Also, these editions are quite beautiful, kind of cute, and I love the way that they feel. Also, if you know more about this author and these short story collections, please let me know about it in the comments below. And the last book that the lovely, wonderful Colleen sent me was Three Souls by Jenny Chang, which was serendipitously received the very day that I saw Mercedes from Mercy's Bookish Musings rave about this book in a recent wrap-up. I'm really excited about this book. It sounds like it has a very similar vibe to A Christmas Carol. It is in a Chinese setting. Basically, this woman is watching her funeral from above and is presented with three different souls who show her different parts of her life. It sounds beautiful, and also, since it has Mercedes' stamp of approval, I'm really, really looking forward to it, and hopefully I'll be reading this with Colleen very soon. The next book that I bought in the month of May was a book that was totally influenced by BookTube, not to mention the beautiful cover, but it is To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. This is my first Jenny Han book, and I've already read it. I read it during the Bout of Books readathon. This basically tells the story of a young girl who has written 5 love letters to boys who she has loved before as a way to kind of express her feelings and move on. But these letters get sent out and she has to deal with the repercussions. It was just what I needed when I read it, and if you're into YA contemporary romance, I highly recommend it. The next book that I bought, I've left at home, so you'll have to look at the beautiful photo of it here, and it is The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender by Leslie Walton. This book is absolutely gorgeous. I got a paperback copy that I found on Amazon. I believe it's an art copy, but this is a magical realism historical fiction novel. It's about a young woman who is born with bird wings, and she believes that it may have something to do with the failed loves of all of the women in her lineage. It sounds wonderful, and it's a beautiful book, and I'm hoping to read it really soon with Jen from Technicolor Moments here on YouTube, which I will also leave her linked down below. But I was really, really interested in this book because I heard a review of it by Rosianna from Miss X Rojas, but I had kind of put it on the back burner and forgotten about it until I saw Maddie from Ramblings and Green Tea say that this was one of her favorite books of all time, so it just pushed me over the edge and I had to buy it. Lastly, I have 4 books that I purchased on my Kindle. The first one I've actually purchased in the month of April, but I forgot to tell you guys about it in my April book haul, and it is Solace by Gail Carriger. It is the first book in the Parasol Protector series. It is a paranormal steampunk series set in a Victorian era. It's kind of a mixture of a Victorian novel with vampires and werewolves and a super badass female character. I was inspired to pick up this book by Sana over at Inkbones Books, who raves about the series. I also have the first book in her young adult series that's in the same universe, and I thought that it would be best to start with this one first. Plus, it was only $5 in the Kindle store, so I couldn't resist. The next book was a book that I have already read, but it was The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness, and I reread it during the #Yearathon readathon. It's the first book in the Chaos Walking trilogy, and I will definitely be talking about that trilogy more in the future. The next book I purchased solely because it was 31 cents, and it was Pushing the Limits by Katie McGarity. It is a contemporary romance about a young girl who is popular and dating a jock, and then after a night of terribleness that she can't seem to remember, she becomes the outcast, freaky girl with scars on her arms that she can't even really remember where they came from. In walks in Mr. Bad Boy, and the story goes from there. Like I said, it's not really something that I would usually read, but it was 31 cents in the Kindle store, so I just bought it. And the last book that I have to talk about today is The Lies of Locke and Lamora by Scott Lynch. It is a fantasy novel following a group of thieves and general troublemakers. It's been described as a mix between Robin Hood and Ocean's 11, and there's apparently some humorous foul language in it, which is always fun. So I'm looking forward to getting to this whenever I can. Plus, it was only $5 as well in the Kindle store. So guys, we've reached the end of my book haul. I hope you enjoyed, and if you want to tell me anything about any of the books that I mentioned here today, please feel free to do so in the comments below. And next week, I'm hoping to have 2 or 3 young adult book talks for you, including Then You Were Gone by Lauren Strasnick, If I Stay by Gail Forman, and Amelia Ann Is Dead and Gone by Kat Rosenfield. So I hope you look forward to those, and I will see you soon with a new video.